Good evening, hello and welcome. You're watching News Epicenter. I'm Anusha Soni. The battle of 2024 is the political match to watch out for. One oft-asked question is BJP versus who? Can the opposition really provide an alternative to the Modi factor? The huddle and the shudder within the opposition ranks is obviously understandable. There's no one big political face on which the opposition can bank upon. Regional satraps have expressed national ambitions, with most refusing to accept the dominance or the leadership of the Congress party. Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge met Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar and his deputy Tejasvi Yadav in the national capital. On the agenda is the ambitious plan of a larger opposition unity ahead of 2024. And if opposition unity is to be understood well beyond these joint press conferences and dharnas, it's tangibly translated into forging alliances and seat sharing. In the run-up to the big battle of 2024, as I said, will the opposition be able to stitch together a grand alliance? Is there any real alternative to Brand Modi? Will the clash of the individual ambitions within the opposition ranks lead to a scattered agenda? And can there be a single unified opposition to take on the blitzkrieg of the BJP? Well, the opposition may have united over Rahul Gandhi's disqualification, but can he truly be the glue for a united front? All these questions are focused on News Epicenter tonight.
जितनी भी पार्टियां हमारे साथ चलेंगी उनको हम सबको एक साथ लेकर जो देश में आइडियोलॉजिकल लड़ाई चल रही है, विचारधारा की लड़ाई चल रही है, उसको लड़ेंगे।
एक होकर आगे जो चुनाव आएंगे उस चुनाव में एकजुट दिखाकर लड़ेंगे।
एक साथ हम लोग आगे का काम करेंगे, मिल करके चलेंगे, ये बात तय हो गई है। और जितने लोग एग्री करेंगे तो सब लोगों को फिर हम लोग बैठ करके आपस में आगे का निर्णय तय करेंगे।
Modi versus who in 2024? This question has haunted the critics and the opposition alike. Joining us on the broadcast is Shehzad Poonawala, the BJP national spokesperson. Advocate Mahima Singh from the Congress party is with us on the broadcast. Professor Manojit Mandal from the TMC is with us. Professor Chitranjan Gagan, the RJD spokesperson, is also with us on the show. We expect the Aam Aadmi party to be with us in just a few minutes from now. Shehzad, the opening arguments from you. The opposition is very hopeful that they'll be able to stitch together a grand alliance. Multiple issues, especially one of corruption, Adani issue, the disqualification of Rahul Gandhi. We have seen unprecedented unity from the opposition ranks. Is the BJP worried?
I'll start by a couplet. कोई मेरे सुंदर सपनों को हकीकत से ना जोड़ो, इस शीशे आईने के पत्थर से ना तोड़ो. So I think that is enough said about this so-called opposition unity. In theory, it sounds good, but in practicality, what does it result in? Look, it's so ironical that those who need to first do unity in their own party in Rajasthan, in Maharashtra, you can see Thorat versus Nana Patole, or in Chhattisgarh, Deo versus Baghel and other places, are trying for national unity of opposition parties. And those who've been reduced to the margins of irrelevance in their own state, namely Nitish Kumar, he's now the number 3 party in the state of Bihar, is trying to gain prominence in the national scene. And what is their common agenda? Nothing. They want to oppose mission and vision of Prime Minister Modi with what? With unity on commission, unity on corruption, unity on agenda for division and ambition for position. There's nothing common between them. For instance, what is the common position that Uddhav Sena, Congress Party, RJD, JDU and TMC have on UCC or on 370? Uddhav Sena says yes for 370, all of these other elements say no for 370. So the only agenda is to cover up for corruption, to save their parivar politics, and therefore they are all uniting. But let me give you a couple of examples. They tried this in 2018. Kumaraswamy, all of us, we saw hand to hand was raised. What happened about that? In practicality, nothing. In 2019, Bua and Babua came together. They fought against us. What happened out of that? Nothing happened. The era of coalition politics and politics of convenient coalition, corruption-filled coalition is over. The area of Deva Gowda
Shehzad,
and
you're
IK
right
Bujal is over.
that
And
on
last
multiple
point.
issues,
Just last
multiple
point.
issues. the opposition is not a united lot. We have seen that. It has been a scattered one. But on the Adani issue, on the corruption issues, on multiple issues of inflation, unemployment, which many would argue are the core issues in any democracy. On those fronts, we have seen your unity within the opposition ranks.
Since it's also going to be 1 versus 4 panel, on this Adani issue only let us start.
Yeah.
TMC's official stand on Adani issue, 17th March 2023, articulated by Derek O'Brien. No need for JPC. We want opposition states must probe the projects given by the so-called opposition state. This is on 17th March 2023. This is the official stand of TMC. Now I want to ask that, is Ms. Mahima Singh ready to order probe in Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh? So far, no. Also on NCP stand on JPC, you have already seen they have said no for JPC, and on Hindenburg report, they have said it is an affair where targeting is being done of an Indian company. Do they agree? Let's forget that stand also. Look at their stand on Savarkar issue. Uddhav ji today has taken a stand on Savarkar. Sharad Pawar ji has taken, but in Rahul Gandhi's welcome entry, they have insulted Savarkar yet again. And therefore, today Ajit Pawar just 2 hours ago has given a statement against Nana Patole. This is not Mahavikas Agadi, this is Mahavichitra Agadi. And the Vidambana is that they can't keep Gehlot and Pilot together. First, they should find unity between Pilot and Gehlot. Then they should aspire for political unity amongst all these disparate
elements. The BJP has a
elements.
point there. Brand Narendra Modi and the manner in which the coalition politics has failed to match up with the blitzkrieg of the BJP is an electoral reality in this country. With the multiple differences that exist within the opposition ranks, Mr. Kharge has a very ambitious plan that, opposition parties should come together. But talking about the real politic and how things have really panned out, it doesn't look like a plausible scenario. Or are you still hopeful?
Good evening, everyone. And let me just begin by saying, हम अमन चाहते हैं मगर जुल्म के खिलाफ, हम अमन चाहते हैं मगर जुल्म के खिलाफ, गर जंग लाजमी है तो फिर जंग ही सही. Sahir Ludhianvi's timeless words. And let me just say that what the BJP spokesperson was talking about, right? I mean, look at his audacity and the brazen lies that he tells every time he comes on the television, because, just because he can hurl some data and some numbers on your viewers doesn't mean that that's going to shun the questions, the very vital questions that face the democracy today. The very democracy which the BJP has successfully reduced to mere an electoral democracy, because the culture of democracy has been successfully murdered by the BJP, because that's what they were here for. You see, day by day, what we see is a propaganda being built up. We are raising questions. The entire opposition. In fact, there's been debates about Mr. Sharad Pawar's statements. And let me just say that even Mr. Sharad Pawar and everybody, Ms. Mamata Banerjee, the Congress, ADU, the RLD, the Aam Aadmi Party, everybody is jointly asking for a joint parliamentary committee to probe into the Adani scam, the historical scam that has, been inflicted upon this country by the BJP.
I will give you a recent example. While the Congress party was making this huge issue about the degree and educational qualifications of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the Chanakya, often called the Chanakya within the opposition ranks, Mr. Sharad Pawar, the veteran leader, had an advice that don't make this an issue for the opposition. This is not really an issue. And I can go on and quote multiple examples, but let me bring in some structure to this debate. What I want to understand from you, ma'am, please make your point, but answer this question as well. Is any opposition party today willing to accept the leadership of the Congress party?
Just see, the leadership, who will lead from the front, is a question to be dealt with at a later stage, because we are a federal democracy, we are a quasi-federal democracy, we are a parliamentary democracy, we are not a presidential democracy. And since you have mentioned Mr. Sharad Pawar's remark on the degree issue, let me just very categorically clarify that he has said, किसी की डिग्री एक मुद्दा नहीं बनना चाहिए, but the Congress is raising questions on the lies that the BJP and the Prime Minister have blatantly told this country. We are saying, why lie? Even if you are an uneducated Prime Minister, even though if that was the case, that would be fine, but please be truthful to the country. The countrymen deserve truth from the Prime Minister. We do not deserve such fanciful stories. 10 years ago, you say I have not studied. I studied in a village school.
But
10 years later, you say I hold a degree in entire political science.
You know, Maimaji, we can get lost in a dozen issues that have dominated the political discourse in the last 1 year, 2 years, or we can go back in time. I can talk about Rafale, I can talk about the Central Vista, I can talk about what Rahul Gandhi said abroad and the different positions that different parties have taken. But that will not answer the question tangibly. The tangible question that I'm asking you is that there has to be some kind of leadership within the opposition ranks for it to counter the BJP. And that unity is also about leadership. You don't have a clear leadership at this point in time.
As I already said, I'll reiterate. We are a parliamentary democracy. We fight elections on issues, public issues, the very issues which are being undermined today.
Yeah.
No debate is allowed in the parliament. You see, it is the treasury benches of the parliament, again, unprecedented that the treasury benches are disrupting completely the business of the parliament.
Okay.
So for the past 3 years, we've been raising issues.
Before I take in a word from the TMC, a quick rebuttal from Shehzad, then I'll go to TMC.
Look, I did not even get into the issue of who will be their prospective leader of this mythical alliance. I am saying what is the issue on which they are coming together. Let us see and examine the unity on that itself. Let me give you one example. By the way, on JPC, Madam Mahimaji, I respect you a lot, but TMC has taken categorical stand, no JPC, state governments must probe. But I'll give you another example. Congress statement, Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary. TMC has understanding with BJP to escape central agencies from crackdown on corruption. That means two things. One, that it is not committed to the cause of vendetta politics, etc. And two, that it is a corrupt party. And second statement by Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, very interesting. 20th March statement, 2023. PM Modi and Mamta Banerjee have a deal to defame Rahul Gandhi and Congress. Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, quoted in Times of India. Now I want both these respected leaders of their parties. Does Mahimaji stand with the statement of Adhir ji? And does TMC accept the statement of
I want to
TMC?
go to TMC. I want to go to Professor Manojit Mandal. We also have Jasmine Shah from the Aam Aadmi Party joining us on the broadcast finally. Professor Manojit Mandal, taking in a view from you. The Trinamool Congress has differed with the Congress party on multiple occasions. Shehzad named a few media reports that had come out in the public domain. There are many other instances where the Trinamool Congress has taken a different position. More importantly, TMC is one of the parties within the opposition ranks that does not want to accept the leadership of the Congress party and in fact says, why the Congress, why can't it be TMC and Mamta Banerjee? With those individual ambitions on the table, do you think there can be some kind of a united front?
No, you don't really call it individual ambitions. We are not ambitious to rule India. The TMC, All India Trinamool Congress, believes in the culture of serving to the people. Unlike the present dispensation, which only believes in holding a particular post, winning elections, they call themselves election machines. Despite the fact that if you go to the right side of the left side of the India map, starting from Bengal to Kerala, there are 7-8 states where barely in one state they exist. That is in Karnataka, and I'm talking about 220 seats. If you think about the present position of this political party after 29, especially after the elections of 2019, if you think about the parliamentary seats, 220 seats, out of which they are not even winning 20 seats. So talking about 200 seats going to the non-BJP parties, that also include Congress. But Congress is also barely existing in these particular states, except in Karnataka.
But sir, that math will hold true if there is some kind of unity and seat sharing agreement on the ground. If political precedents are anything to go by, there are no alliances that have been fought successfully.
I'll tell you what is the alliance and what is the agreement. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
We need to have some kind of consensus to have 1:1 fight in at least 400 seats out of 543.
Okay.
And the game is on. The match is on. What we call in Bangla, khelabe. Forget about the leadership. You are talking about only 1 or 1.5 leadership, Mr. Modi and Mr. Amit Shah. We are talking about a dozen leaders. Yes, we do not have a single leader, but a dozen leaders. There can be differences between political parties. Yes, we do not agree with the functioning of the West Bengal Pradesh Congress Committee. There are differences and we will fight with them. But that doesn't mean that we are not with the opposition. Yes, we do not believe in the culture of entitlement, do not believe in the culture of leadership of one single party. We are all equal partners.
There was a statement that had come from Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary pointing out to some kind of tacit understanding between the TMC and the BJP. Do you agree with that statement?
I'll tell you. Certainly, I mean, people who defeated BJP in 2021,
of course.
Congress surrendered. Adhir Chaudhary surrendered himself to BJP in Murshidabad, the last bastion of the Congress party.
We should ask Congress.
Not a single seat.
No, that's a good jibe. That's a good jibe you're taking on the Congress party. But unfortunately, you're proving the point of the BJP, aren't you?
Murshidabad, Adhir Chaudhary, it used to be his bastion. The last bastion of Congress in Bengal was
opposition
Murshidabad,
unity on full display on Anusha's show tonight.
BJP. I repeat,
opposition unity is on
display. To BJP. Opposition unity will remain when it's the.
But sir, how will the opposition unity remain if the Congress party is taking jibes at the TMC? Okay, let me bring in other panelists also into the discussion. Professor Chitranjan Gagan from the RJD is also with us on the show. Professor Gagan, taking in a view from you. Veteran leaders met today in the national capital. You had Mr. Nitish Kumar, Tejasvi Yadav, Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge, Rahul Gandhi was also in attendance. In your political wisdom and experience, do you think that maybe at the state level, at the regional level, it might be wise to forge these kind of alliances? But the sheer umbrella and the diversity that exists within the opposition camp, it makes it impossible to have any kind of national alliance.
देखिए, वही खासियत है बिहार के संघीय प्रजातांत्रिक व्यवस्था में जो खूबी है, यही खूबी है
जी।
और जहां तक सवाल यह है कि फेस और मुद्दा, तो मुद्दा जो है, आप कह रहे हैं कि हम मतभेद है, तो रीजनल पार्टी अगर अलग अलग पार्टियां हैं तो निश्चित रूप से कहीं ना कहीं कुछ विचारों में अंतर है, लेकिन जो मेन मुद्दा है, महंगाई है, बेरोजगारी है, जिस ढंग से ईडी, आईटी, सीबीआई का गलत इस्तेमाल किया जा रहा है, विपक्ष के नेताओं को दबाने का प्रयास किया जा रहा है, डेमोक्रेटिक पोजीशन जो है उसमें कहीं ना कहीं उस पर अटैक हो रहा है, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल जो इंस्टीट्यूशन है उनके अधिकारों पर हमला हो रहा है, तो ये सारे जो मुद्दे हैं, इन मुद्दे पर सारे दल जो हैं सो एक हैं। और आप बिहार में देख लीजिए, जिस ढंग से बिहार में एक गैर भाजपा दल एक साथ आए और भाजपा मुक्त बिहार बनाने का काम किया, एक मॉडल पेश किया है, और यह मॉडल जो है पूरे राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर इस मॉडल को स्थापित करने के लिए हमारे नेता लालू जी, बिहार के मुख्यमंत्री
मेरा आपसे एक सवाल है कि देखिए, जॉइंट प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करने से या साथ में आके बयानबाजी कर देने से किसी तरीके के राजनीतिक विकल्प तो तैयार नहीं होते। राजनीतिक विकल्प तैयार करने के लिए आपको किसी तरीके के गणित पर अग्री करना पड़ेगा, एक सहमति जुटानी पड़ेगी, सीट्स पर एक साथ लड़ना पड़ेगा।
आप देख लीजिए परिस्थितियां जो है, परिस्थितियां आप देख लीजिए, पहले भी ऐसा हुआ है, पहले भी कोई पहली बार ऐसी बात नहीं है, पहले भी हुआ है, चाहे हुआ 2004 में आप देख लीजिए, वाजपेयी जी ऐसे फेस सामने था, उसके बाद जो है सो कोई उनके खिलाफ में वैसा फेस नहीं था, लेकिन भाजपा को हारना पड़ा। आप देख लीजिए 77 में देख लीजिए, इंदिरा जी के फेस के सामने कोई नहीं था। तो विपक्ष में तो बहुत से चेहरे हैं जो मोदी से फार बेटर प्राइम मिनिस्टर साबित हो सकते हैं, एक दो नहीं दर्जनों ऐसे लीडर हैं गैर भाजपा दलों में, ये नरेंद्र मोदी के बनिस्बत तुलना में फार बेटर प्रधानमंत्री साबित हो सकते हैं। तो सवाल यह है कि उनके पास कोई मुद्दा नहीं, उनके पास कोई मुद्दा नहीं है। जो
एक अंतिम प्रश्न मेरा आपसे कि उनके पास कोई मुद्दा नहीं है और विपक्ष के पास क्या मुद्दा है? पॉलिटिकल नैरेटिव जिसको बोलते हैं, या मुद्दों को सेट करना, देश के सामने रखना, अपनी बात पर सरकार से जवाब लेना, विपक्ष इस पूरे लिहाज में कहीं ना कहीं फेल हुआ है। पॉलिटिकल नैरेटिव इस देश में आज की डेट में बीजेपी सेट कर रही है, और उस पॉलिटिकल नैरेटिव का आप एक रिएक्शन जरूर दे रहे हैं, लेकिन आप उसको क्रिएट नहीं कर पा रहे।
नहीं, देखिए वह जो है सो जनता समझ रही है और जनता आगे है। आप जो है पार्लियामेंट में डिबेट नहीं करवा रहे हैं, पार्लियामेंट में किसी को बोलने नहीं दे रहे हैं, विपक्ष में कोई कहीं बोलता है, पत्रकार बोलता है, उसको आप अंदर डाल दे, उस पर केस कर देते हैं, कोई गाना गाता है आपके खिलाफ में तो उस पर नोटिस हो जाता है। तो जनता जो है सो वह इन सारे चीजों को समझ रही है,
जनता
और जो
इन सारी चीजों को समझ रही है और प्रोफेसर साहब का मानना है कि बहुत सारे ऐसे चेहरे विपक्ष में भी हैं जो विकल्प बन सकते हैं. शहजाद, a quick response from you and Manojit, and then I'll go to the
Again, I reiterate, in the entire debate, I have not asked them who their leader is at all. But one of the issues which RJD flagged कि गलत इस्तेमाल हो रहा है एजेंसीज का, मैं उसी पर बताता हूँ. कांग्रेस पार्टी का ये पोस्टर है जो उन्होंने दिल्ली में लगाया, जिसमें सत्येंद्र जैन, मनीष सिसोदिया जेल के पीछे दिखाया गया. इंडियन एक्सप्रेस ने इसको छापा है. They have welcomed the action on Manish Sisodia and Satyendra Jain, saying ये 100% सही है. Now Mahima Singh has to determine whether the action on Satyendra Jain and Sisodia is correct, and Jasmine has to tell us in his turn whether Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi are bastions of integrity, because in 2013, 2012 they used to come out every day with charge sheet against the UPA Congress leaders and including Vadra, etc. Are they all now non-corrupt and suddenly they have become bastions of honesty? Second point, look, all 14 parties went on this particular issue to Supreme Court, saying that they are misusing the agencies against us. What did the Supreme Court do to them? And thirdly, as far as democracy being silenced, अरे जिस पार्टी में मीसा जी का नाम मीसा कानून के खिलाफ रखा गया था, उस पार्टी का ये कहना, अरे एक ही बार डेमोक्रेसी को साइलेंस किया गया 1975 में, और आज भी अगर कोई एक कार्टून बनाने के लिए किसी को 10 साल तक कोर्ट के चक्कर लगाता है तो वो टीएमसी की सरकार में हो रहा है, जहां पर रूल ऑफ लॉ नहीं, लॉ ऑफ द रूलर बताया गया है. किस प्रकार से वहां पर पोस्ट पोल वायलेंस हुआ और किस प्रकार से वहां पर अत्याचार हो रहा है और किस प्रकार से वहां पर डेमोक्रेसी की आवाज को साइलेंस किया जा रहा है, ये तो अधीर रंजन दादा बताते रहते हैं. हम नहीं बताते, अधीर दादा बताते हैं कि वहां पर कांग्रेस कार्यकर्ताओं के साथ क्या क्या हो रहा है. तो आप लोग अपना मामला सेटल कर लीजिए. आम आदमी पार्टी दिल्ली कांग्रेस के साथ सेटल करे, अधीर रंजन जी ममता दीदी के साथ सेटल करे, जेडीयू आरजेडी के साथ सेटल करे.
Professor Manojit Mandal, and then I want to bring in the Aam Aadmi Party into the discussion.
The way he's addressing Adhir Dada, it seems that you have got some connection.
Why you don't like Adhir Dada? You don't. I call Mamta also Didi. I call her Didi. I call him Dada. But is he not worth calling Dada?
अच्छा, इन सब बातों से आगे बढ़ते हैं. मनोजीत जी,
bringing in Adhir to justify something that hasn't happened.
Is Adhir Dada an agent of BJP according to you?
Arey, can I speak? This is what we want.
I call you also Dada.
You do not let others speak.
Okay.
This is democracy for you.
Okay, Manojit.
Even inside the TV studio, our voices are muzzled.
all right, let's come to the core issue. Let's come to the core issue.
Yeah. You don't want to see the issues,
okay,
my dear friend.
What
the issues are in plenty, starting from price rise, LIC, banks, market, interest, what's not. All the promises made by the BR, then forget about the cronyism, the crony capitalism that we have brought in right now. When you actually twist or reorient a particular government policy to benefit a corporate sector, like what you did in 2019 by divesting LIC, and now that benefit is being enjoyed by one particular company by the name of Adani. This is cronyism, not what is happening in Rajasthan or what is happening in Bengal, because Adani has come in here. If they have come with the tendering process, right process,
Manojit,
that's
I have heard
fine.
you.
But what you have...
Shehzad, I want to bring in Aam Aadmi Party also into the discussion, then I'll bring you again. Jasmine Shah. There's a poster, and not just that poster. When Satyendra Jain, Manish Sisodia, that action was taken by CBI and ED, Congress was one of the first parties that supported that action. I don't have to quote you instances. You're well aware on the multiple occasions when the Congress party has supported action against the Aam Aadmi Party. When we talk about the grand unity of the opposition parties, do you see the Aam Aadmi Party play a role in it? Under any scenario, will you accept the leadership of the Congress party?
Anusha, first of all, I hope you'll allow me to speak for some time, because I very patiently listened to the tutu meme that's been going on this show. First and foremost, let me come to Congress, because you asked that question. You're right that the behavior of Congress over the recent many years when the AAP has been in power in Delhi has been unbecoming of the Congress of yesteryears. You would expect that there is first some amount of moral leadership for any large party that has a rich history and legacy like the Congress. But the way that the Congress has behaved in Delhi, every time agencies have been unleashed on AAP, Congress is equally standing besides BJP and cheering them on. Not just that, new complaints are being written by the Congress to the LG based on which investigations are being lodged. I can see Shehzad smiling, because he would happily chat about Congress fighting AAP fighting ABCD, Team Trinamool fighting this. The question, however, is not even that. The question today is, are all opposition parties, under whatever framework, willing to work together, not to defeat BJP, but to save the democratic foundation of India. Because that is what is under threat, and that is what is the most dangerous. Never in the history of India has the parliament been stopped by a party in power. And for what purpose? To save your one friend Adani and to save any kind of an embarrassment or even a debate from happening. Forget about JPC. You are saying you will not allow JPC. But आप debate नहीं होने दे रहे हैं, पूरे parliament पे आपने ताला लगा दिया. That means that you have something to hide. In the last 7 or 8 years, you look at the economy of the country, the debt of the country has tripled, from 50 lakh crores that we accumulated in the first 65 years of our independence. In the last 9 to 10 years, we've accumulated 100 lakh crores over that. Today, we have 150 lakh crores. You see the price rise that has happened. LPG cylinders ke daam dekh lijaiye.
You were right that you patiently listened to the points of all the panelists, and that is why I've heard what you've said. But you've not answered my question. I asked you a question that is there any circumstance and scenario under which a party like the Aam Aadmi Party, which came to power on the plank of anti-corruption and defeated the Congress, took their vote bank in a great way, will ever accept the leadership of the Congress Party at the union level? You've not answered that question.
No, and because I don't think at this moment either the Congress is projecting itself as a leader or AAP is trying to work anything with the Congress. See, over the coming months as we approach closer to elections, let's see if there is some kind of a common framework that emerges or not. But at the moment, what the people of the country will have to agree upon is that it is important to stop democracy from being demolished. We cannot have one party rule like there is in China, because that is what the BJP wants. By unleashing ED, CBI on all opposition parties, by abusing the office of Lieutenant Governor and governors to ensure that even once you win as an opposition party, your government...
Maimaji, one thing is very clear as I speak to different opposition leaders. I'll come to you, Shahzad, just a second. As I speak to various opposition leaders, that when it comes to the leadership issue, everybody is wanting to duck that question. There is no answer on the leadership bit.
Nobody is ducking the
question. Maimaji, please go ahead.
Before I come to answer your question, I must say, Anusha, that I've been raising my hand for quite some time.
I'm sorry, I must have missed it, Maimaji. It wasn't.
As a BJP spokesperson, went on bragging about the before and after of the others. Let me just remind him how Mr. Narendra Modi was, virulently opposing the GST before 2014, and thereafter we have seen what has followed, and in a manner of lack of policy. And apart from that, he was talking about other labels. Let me just say that the first manipulated media attack that was given by the Twitter was to Amit Malviya, their spokesperson. And apart from that, he was talking about corruption, about the others. We have just seen 2 days ago, Mr. Satyapal Malik, play out the cards. And how has he talked about the 300 crore rupees scam, where Ram Madhav, RSS, BJP, Mr. Narendra Modi have been named all together. And we've held a press conference and we have diverged details about that. Now, coming to your question, Anusha, I would say that difference of opinion is the characteristic trait of the democracy, and the Congress party has always stood to protect it, stood guard to it. Had it not been the case, the BJP's existence would be quite questionable, because where they stood in 70s and 80s and before that, and how the Congress has ever ever protected the voice of opposition in the parliament.
My last question to you before I have closing comments from the BJP also. Maimaji, do you concede that there is a leadership crisis within the opposition ranks?
Not at all. As I said, that the election is to be contested on the issues, on the unprecedented lows in unemployment, inflation, on the Adani scam, on the questions that the BJP owes answers to the people of this country.
Okay.
Lakhs of crores of your and my money have gone into the drain into Adani scam, and no answers from the BJP. A budget worth 45 lakh crore rupees can be passed just like that without a discussion in the parliament.
Shahzad, it is true, and it is clear with this discussion that there is no coherent leadership. At least that answer is not present at this point in time. But all of them seem to be united on this point that corruption is a core issue. Adani issue is resonating repeatedly from all political parties, and quote-unquote democracy is dead. That's the narrative that they want to take to town.
Now let me address the hollowness of each of these claims. I did not, an entire show I have not even asked them once who is your combined leader. I have only gone on issues. the issues that Jasmine flagged, all of these issues, now please don't interrupt, all of these issues were raised together by them in the last set of elections which took place in the Northeast, where there is a majority of minority population and tribal population. And if they had so much confluence on issues, why didn't TMC, left and Congress contest together in Tripura or in Meghalaya? Now,
Manojit, please let him finish. Please let him
There's
finish.
4
My
versus
request.
1. Have
My
some
request.
mercy.
Yes.
In fact, in Tripura, TMC के साथ क्या हुआ बताना भी नहीं चाहता हूँ. दूसरी बात, I am saying forget that also. Today, I am saying tell me one issue on which you all have consonance. Let's say issue of 370. Ask the Aam Aadmi Party, do they want 370 returned? Does the Congress Party, because they have said it on record, Digvijay Singh has said we will restore 370, and ask TMC, do they have a common stand on a fundamental issue like Article 370? They don't. On corruption, let's take the example of corruption. On corruption issue, the courts have denied relief to Satendra Jain, Manish Sisodia, including today, Manish Sisodia has not got relief. Is the Congress Party then saying that Mr. Manish Sisodia is not corrupt and is being hounded by the courts? Let the Congress Party say it. And let the Aam Aadmi Party, which started off by India against corruption, today say that we stand with those who are indulging in National Herald scam. They must say it. They must say it. They must take a stand on these issues.
All right.
Simple as
a quick response from
and
the TMC.
Last point.
Yes, finish
Lalu Prasad has been convicted 4 times by a court of law. Can Aam Aadmi Party say Lalu Prasad is not corrupt?
A quick response from the TMC. Yes.
How did he win election in Bengal? Because of those issues. Because of these issues, you have been trounced by the people of Bengal. What are you saying?
We came from 2 to 7.
One at a time. I'm short of time. I have to give last one.
And you are asking about 370. Our stated position is that on internal security and foreign issues, we are largely with the government. That
what
is
does this issue stand? You want it restored like Congress?
Who said that?
Congress Digvijay Singh said it to a Pakistani journalist. We will restore 370.
You were not in BJP at that point of time. They did not understand.
I was very much. It was
in
revoked in 2019.
So you please go to the archive and.
All right, let's not get personal here. One thing is abundantly clear that when it comes to the opposition narrative, there are dozens of issues that need to be sorted out and ironed out between the opposition parties. Can they find a common ground to take on the BJP? That's the million-dollar question. And I have to give last 1 minute to Mahima ji. She's been trying to make a point. Mahima ji, a quick response from you, and then I'll close the debate.
I wanted to say, Anusha, that the BJP spokesperson, has been talking about the opposition unity and about the Northeast he's just talked about. Let me say that in Northeast, all the states, BJP's vote share has gone down and they fail to admit it. In Himachal Pradesh, we have defeated them on issues. And let me just ask.
So democracy is not dead.
So
democracy is alive, right? So democracy is alive. Thank you. Thank you, Mahima. I thank you for your honesty.
And when is the BJP initiating action on Mr. Ram
In
Madhav?
Himachal is democracy dead?
From Jammu and Kashmir, when the 370 was abrogated, Mr. Satyapal Malik has raised questions worth, corruption worth rupees 300 crores. When is the BJP initiating
Well, Mahima ji, whether it's the Adani issue or quote-unquote democracy is dead, you need to take this narrative to the people and convince them of this. Let's see whether that narrative resonates with the people of India, whether it sticks in the run-up to 2024. I thank all my guests for joining us on that broadcast and also this important discussion.